Chapter 17:15. Big Black's Wrath. Nan Fong sneered as he walked toward the Black Dragon. Our Nan family is destined to be the master of all spirit beasts in this world. You will become a traitor if you disobey my orders. The Black Dragon was so angry, its lungs were about to explode. A traitor? Ridiculous. I will only be little Nine's Big Black for the rest of my life. Black Dragon, I will only give you half a month. If you still refuse to submit to us, then we will kill you. We don't need a minion in the Nan family. The Black Dragon growled. Who is your minion? Even if I am a spirit beast, I still have the right to choose my master freely, and all spirit beasts in the world have the right to choose for themselves. Don't you fear the punishment that will come to you soon for doing these things? Ha ha ha. Nan Fong laughed wildly. Punishment is for those who are weak. God can't even control people like me. Guards. He smirked. Keep on torturing this thing. Sheesh. As soon as the words fell, countless electric currents emerged from the giant cage and passed through the Black Dragon's body. The intense pain made the Black Dragon's body tremble, and in a few moments, the smell of burning wafted in the air. It remained silent as its eyes flashed with a bloodthirsty and cruel light. No one saw that its breath was gradually rising with rage that could destroy the world. Master, an old man walked to Nan Fang's side. He looked at the Black Dragon and said, We found the person this Black Dragon wanted to go looking for. Nan Fong frowned and turned to look at the old man. So soon? Yes, she's in Wushang City. Anyone who came in contact with the Black Dragon had its scent on his body. Unfortunately, no human being in the mainland had contact with the Black Dragon except the spirit beasts. So, it was not easy to find her. Oh, one more thing. That girl has also snatched away so many spirit beasts from the Spirit Beast Mountain. The old man reported respectfully. Boom! Nan Fong smashed his fist on the wall, his eyes glowing with anger. How dare you? How dare you steal spirit beasts from my Spirit Beast Mountain? Who is that person? Me for extra chapters. The old man hesitated for a moment. She's Tianya's granddaughter, Fong Ruching. Tianya. This name made Nan Fong gnash his teeth again, and his eyes flashed with anger. The Nan family's feud with Tianya was only over a small matter. The Nan family loved to tame the spirit beasts, but some of the spirit beasts were unwilling to obey them, like a cat. The cat was caught by them and escaped, and while they were chasing the cat here, they met Tianya. Everyone knew that Tianya loved cats. He killed a skilled master of the Nan family for that cat, which led to the Nan family's undying hatred for him afterward. Nan Fong gradually calmed down as he understood that it was not that easy to kill Tianya's people. Unless, Elder Long, get some Emperor warriors to attack Wushang City. The old man was shocked. Master, it's not easy to provoke Tianya and those people behind him. Chapter 17:16. Big Black's Wrath 2-inch. So, be prepared for these people not to return. Even if they die, they must kill that woman. Nan Fang's eyes flashed with a cold light. The old man was already used to his master's cruelty. He was silent for a moment and said, All right, we'll get them now. The Nan family's Emperor warriors. There were many Emperor warriors in the Nan family. However, this world was not dominated by the Nan family. The other side might join forces to destroy the Nan family. Therefore, was it worth sacrificing those skilled masters for this matter? Elder Long, there's something you don't understand. The old master was indeed a strong man. However, under his rule, the world only praised the Nan family. But were they afraid of us? I want no one to disobey the orders from the Nan family. And I want the Nan family to conquer the mainland. He continued, If we let someone steal a beast from my Spirit Beast Mountain, and we don't do anything about it, wouldn't that make people think that the Nan family is a coward? What's more, that person is Tianya's granddaughter. Tianya has a connection with other forces. I don't want the mainland to think we are weak. We must win this battle. Besides, the Nan family has lost so many people. We will not let the enemy enter Nan City again. No, I should say, no one would dare to enter Nan City again. That was why Nan Fong had dared to send troops out. The old master of the Nan family was paralyzed, and those forces could have annexed the Nan family. However, in the end, Nan City was still safe and sound, all because of him. Elder Long fell silent. Elder Long, I remember that among those who were around Father back then, there is one person who is still alive. Nan Fong smirked. Elder Long naturally understood what his master was thinking and nodded. Yes, that old man has always been careful with his work. He has not made any mistakes so far, and I cannot find any reason to kill him. Nan Fong sneered. So this time, you send him there. I don't need that old man here. Me for extra chapters. Elder Long was a bit shocked. But, Master, Rong Chi is one of the great warriors of our Nan family. Master, I am not arguing against you. I am just afraid that it won't do any good. Nan Fong stared at Elder Long coldly. Those old men also had outstanding strength. So what? They were not willing to obey my orders. Then why should I keep them? Rong Chi now says nothing, but I know he never agrees with me. I don't need such people. I want only those who can obey me. Elder Long sighed. The new master had been too ruthless and killed most of the older generation's elders, leaving only 2 or 3 people. 2 of them had long been obedient to the master. Rong Chi was the only one. Even though he was not as disobedient as the others, he was as invisible as if he did not exist. This caused resentment to grow in the new master's heart. Rong Chi, why is it so difficult for you to submit to our master? Chapter 1717, Big Black's Wrath 3, Master, I'll follow your order. Good. Nan Fong nodded in satisfaction, but his face remained cold. Elder Long, I hope you won't be like those old men. You have to follow whatever I said. Elder Long trembled. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. He understood that this time he had said too much and made his master angry. I've said too much. Master, please forgive me. The coldness on Nan Fang's face gradually faded. You can go, he said calmly. Elder Longar bowed in respect and retreated. None of them looked at the black dragon again, as if it had already disappeared inside the huge cage. The black dragon's eyes were bloodshot, and the electricity that struck it had rendered it senseless. Powerful rage surged through its heart, making it lose all of its senses. These people are going to hurt Little Nine. How dare you? It was unable to protect Little Nine in its past life, and this sorrow had hunted it until now. Boom! The black dragon smashed its head on the cage. Its energy made it tremble for a moment. No one looked at him again. Even the people in the dungeon had left. Perhaps they thought that the black dragon in the cage could not do anything again. Therefore, no one noticed that each time the black dragon hit the cage, it became more powerful and its energy gradually increased. Anger, panic, and sadness were like flames burning its heart. The sky in Nan City suddenly darkened, as if black clouds were floating in the sky. However, no one noticed the difference. They only thought it was the change in the weather, and no one cared about this. The first to notice it was the paralyzed old Master Nan, who was confined to his bed. He cast his gaze out the window to the dark clouds and slowly closed his eyes. Me for extra chapters. The sky in Nan City will change after all. The door was pushed open, and with a heavy footstep, someone slowly walked up to the old man. Old Master Nan turned his head, not wanting to look at the visitor. Nan Fong looked at the old man, who was still stubborn. He sneered. Father, I've sent Rong Chi to chase after Tianya. Oh, do you know who Tianya is? He has killed a lot of people in our Nan City, and this time I've sent your people to kill him. The old man trembled. He held his own hands tightly, tried to calm down. Oh, I know you don't want him to go, but there's no way to stop me. I've already asked you to rest in this courtyard, and no one is allowed to visit you. There's no way to get him back. Once he dies, the Nan family will be completely mine. Nan Fong smirked, slowly moving toward the head of the bed. Father, do you know what you've done? You wouldn't have caused so much trouble if you had agreed to marry your daughter to me back then. If she has married me, she would have been the lady of the Nan family, and you could have enjoyed your life in peace. The old man's fists were trembling, but he had long been unable to say a word, and even if he had been angry, he could no longer curse like back then. By the way, it's hard that you can't speak now, isn't it? You were the one who cursed me, saying I was ungrateful, calling me a pig or dog. Funny. The ungrateful one is your precious daughter. Can't you see how good I am to her? She said she didn't want to marry me, but why didn't you force her? Now, even if she appears before me, I will not marry her anymore. Chapter 17:18. Escaping I. I've followed you for so many years. How much have I helped the Nan family with? She's back, and you want to give her the Nan family? So what am I? What about all the years of my hard work? It would have been fine if she had wanted to marry me, but she was so ignorant, and you were indulging her. Father, if you knew that you would end up like this, would you still be so indulgent to your ignorant daughter? The old man closed his eyes. He did not want to look at Nan Fong, let alone answer his questions. But Nan Fong smiled coldly and lowered his eyes. Rong Chi, that old man also knows that he will die this time, so he wants to see you again before he leaves. I'm always reasonable. How can I not fulfill your wish? But you know what to do. Nan Fong straightened up, clapped his hands, smirked. Bring her now. The old master turned his head, and for a moment, a familiar face came to sight. He was agitated, struggling to get up from the bed. Outside the window, a woman prostrated in the doorway with her face full of tears. Her hands pressed against the door with a look of grief and despair on her face. If Feng Ruqing were here, she would have seen that the woman looked exactly like Sui. Father, Nan Fong smiled coldly. So, if you don't want anything to happen to your precious daughter, you'd better be good and obedient. After all, back then, you said that it was her disobedience and unfilial piety that made you give me the headship of the Nan family. He paused and smiled eerily. But what you said that day was true. She should have married me, but she had refused. So, she must pay the price for it. The old master's gaze was filled with hatred and anger as he stared at Nan Fong. There was an inexhaustible flame of anger in those eyes. I know you are outraged now and would like to kill me. Unfortunately, I will live well, and now I will let you live, but only to let you witness my strength. I will do better than when you ruled the Nan family. The old master closed his eyes in grief, tears flowing down his old face, his body trembling, and he clenched his fists tightly. I'm sorry. I was wrong back then. I shouldn't have brought a wolf into the house and ruined your life. Later that old man, Rong Chi, will come in. Get ready to see him one last time. He's the only one left of those old guys who opposed me back then. Nan Fong flung his sleeve, turned around, and left. Me for extra chapters. The moment he walked out of the room, he gave a wink to the two guards at the door. The two guards dragged the woman out of the room and gradually disappeared from the old man's eyes. In the silent courtyard, Nan Fong stopped in his tracks. The woman behind him had also stopped weeping and was staring at Nan Fong respectfully. Master, how long do I need to live with this face? Nan City will soon be completely under my control, and there will be no need to threaten that old man anymore. Nan Fang's eyes sank, and a flash of coldness appeared in his eyes. If that woman, Nan Suyi, had not escaped, I wouldn't have needed someone to impersonate her, but you can only see him through the door. Otherwise, that old man will notice that you're not her. Chapter 17:19. Escaping to the woman bowed respectfully to him. Rong Chi was standing in front of old Master Nan in the room, his hair white, and his face looked dull. Rong Chi's voice was choked with sobs. Maybe this time, I won't be able to come back. The old master shuddered and closed his eyes, as if that were all he needed to calm his heart. Old master, why? Why did you give this position to Nan Fong? Do you know how badly Wu Wei and the others died just because of a disagreement? He had used that as an excuse to kill them. Rong Chi closed his eyes in grief. He had thought that he could swallow his anger and survive until the last day, but in the end, Nan Fong still did not want to let him go. It was impossible to say that he had no grudge against the old master. However, he still hoped that the old master would stand up again and take charge of the Nan family. Old master, back then you said that young lady was rebellious and made you fall sick, so you passed your position to Nan Fong. Is that true? You searched for young lady for so many years. It was hard to find her. Even if young lady disobeyed, you would not be mad at her. But why did you make such a decision to put the Nan family in such a situation? Do you know what the people said about our Nan family? Rong Chi cried. Old Master Nan's fist trembled harder, but he knew that he could say nothing. In his life, he could give up the Nan family. He could give up everything, just to keep his daughter safe. The old master took Rong Chi's hand, trembling. His thin fingers slowly traced a word in Rong Chi's palm. The only person left of those who had been with him was Rong Chi, and he did not want him to die in Nan Fang's hands. Rong Chi was trembling, and he held the old master's hand tightly. Old master, do you have something you want to say but can't say? Did that bastard threaten you with something? Young lady, she said you drove her out of the family back then, but I don't believe it. Where did she go? The old master opened his mouth. He could not make a sound, but his mouth shape was the same as the word he had just written. Go. Go as far away as you can and never come back. Me for extra chapters. Old master. Rong Chi's eyes filled with tears. He eventually let go of the old man's hand, took a few steps back, and bowed respectfully. Master, take care. All these years, Nan Fang had never allowed him to leave Nan City. This time, this opportunity has come. If the old master would not say anything, he must find her even if he has to go through thousands of mountains and rivers. He wanted to know the truth. Rong Chi did not look at the old master again. He firmly turned around and walked out of the manor. He did not know if he would have another chance to come back again and was afraid that he would not be able to leave again once he returned. The old master gazed in the direction of Rong Chi's departure and was lost in his thought. If you can leave this time, don't come back. Nan City is not the same as it used to be. Feng Manor, Wushang City. Tianya looked panicked. He rushed toward Nan Xian, who was guarding outside of the room, and grabbed his lapels. Chapter 17:20. Escaping 3. Where's my dear granddaughter? Isn't the day of her delivery still a few days away, and why is she suddenly giving birth now? He had not even thought a name for his great-granddaughter yet, so how could she be born so soon? Nan Xian looked at Tian Ya's hand, holding his lapel, and gently slapped his hand away. He then turned around to enter the room. Fu Chan stopped Nan Xian. His eyes were filled with determination. Mother said you can't go in. Get out of the way. Nan Xian's eyes were slightly sunken, and his voice was a little colder. It had been several hours, and there had been no news from her, so he must stay by Qinger's side to calm her. You can't go in. Mother can control everything, so you don't have to worry. The little brat is so stubborn, refusing to come out, but according to the old lady, when the water is broken, the baby has to be born. But that little brat's reluctance to come out is also a real torment. Fu Chan was a little annoyed. What if? It's a sign that this kid will always make mother angry? It's fine if it's a little sister. But if it's a little brother, he'll probably get beaten up every day. Nan Xian wanted to say something, but suddenly he saw the whole sky darkened. Powerful energy came from behind him, overwhelming the entire sky. Tian Ya's face darkened. He turned sideways and looked at the group of people coming from short distance. All were dressed in black, gathering in the sky above Feng Manor. Imperial Palace. Qi Feng was sitting in the Imperial study room, reading his memoirs. Suddenly, he seemed to notice something and looked up abruptly. He was shocked when he saw something in the sky. Why are so many Emperor warriors coming to the Wushang city? He subconsciously wiped the sweat from his forehead and stood up from his chair. Call out the palace's skilled masters and go with me to take a look. Yes, Emperor. The eunuch panicked and ran over to hug Qi Fang's thigh. Emperor, please don't go. It's too dangerous. Qi Fang's face darkened and kicked him. I'm the Emperor of Wushang City. How can I not care? Furthermore, it came from General Manor, and my children are still there. So I have to go now. His people might be in danger, and he could not sit idly by. Me for extra chapters. Qi Fang flung his sleeve, ignoring the eunuch, and walked out of the Imperial study room. At the same time, Old Master Hellion also got up in shock and immediately ordered, Guard, watch over Yuer. Don't let her go out today. Feng Manor. Tianya looked at the group of people floating in the sky, expressionlessly. Among those people, he even saw a few familiar figures with a cold smile on their faces. I was wondering who it was. It turned out to be the old dog of the Nan family, who has allowed you to come to Wushang City. The leader was a yellow-robed old man, looking down at Tianya arrogantly. If she is willing to return the beast, we might even let her die properly. Tianya's face darkened. He growled, "Who told you that my granddaughter has stolen your spirit beast?" Chapter 1721. Escaping Ivy. The yellow-robed old man sneered. "This courtyard full of spirit beasts is the best evidence. Ha ha! Who told you that all the spirit beasts in the world belong to your Nan family? Today, if you want to hurt my granddaughter in my Feng manner, then I, Feng Wu Hui, will make sure that you have no way out in this life." Only a few people in this land knew this name, Wu Hui. Oof. The beasts agreed to contract with her. Does that mean the beasts belong to her? In my view, Feng Ruching is a thief, and the spirit beast is a traitor. Both of them are unforgivable. The yellow-robed old man raised his hand and waved. A burst of spiritual energy came out as fast as lightning, and without giving anyone a chance to react, it sank into the leopard's chest. The leopard stared at it with wide eyes and fell to the ground in a pool of blood. This is the price of betrayal. We, the Nan family, would rather not have disobedient spirit beasts like this than take them for granted. Tianya's face darkened. A leopard. It's a big cat. The Nan family has hurt the cats again. How dare you? Tianya shouted furiously and rushed over to those in the sky. Nansien did not make any move. He stood at the door as his cold gaze slowly filled with murderous intent. It was not that he did not want to help Tianya, but behind the door was the girl he loved, and he would always protect her first. He must stand guard here. No one was allowed to enter this room. As expected, some people might have heard the voice from the room and knew that Feng Ruching was inside. They looked at each other before rushing down to Nansien. Nansien had drawn his long sword. His eyes grew colder, and his white robe swirled around in the strong wind. Xiao Qin. Ahua pounced on the leopard in the pool of blood, tears rolling down its face, with endless anger and sadness. Xiao Qin was a leopard it had wooed from the Spirit Beast Mountain. It was good-looking and the type of leopard that it liked. It was killed before it had a chance to pursue it. Ahua straightened its body, and its eyes were bloodshot, staring at the group of people in the sky. Why do we need the Nan family to control our freedom? The spirit beasts have been living freely in land of no return for so many years. Just because we don't want to draw contracts with the Nan family, we have become traitors? Ridiculous. Me for extra chapters. To us, she's the best master who gives us the respect we deserve and who has given us hope again. You keep saying that the Spirit Beast Mountain is yours. The Nan family is so powerful. Why don't you say that the sun is yours too? The Nan family was famous for its dominance in the Spirit Beast Mountain, but no beast was willing to obey the Nan family. The spirit beast caught by the Nan family would eventually be treated as a slave. As a leopard, we also have the dignity of a leopard. I've hidden from the Nan family for so many years to survive, and today I will break your arms even if I have to risk my life. Its voice echoed through the night sky of the entire Wushang city. All people in Wushang city could hear its voice. Indeed, the Nan family is so dominating, cruel, and inhumane. They will be punished for their evil acts sooner or later. Chapter 1722. Escaping Vahua roared and rushed toward the Nan family's skilled masters. The other spirit beasts were not as strong as these people, but they stood bravely, with eyes filled with rage. The blood had stained the ground red, so vividly apparent in Nan City. A dragon whistle came out from Nan Manor, echoing through the night sky for a long time. The black dragon desperately hit the cage with its huge body. Its breath became more terrifying, and its bloodthirsty eyes carried a cruel light. It remembered back then it did not see Little Nine in its dream. It chose to seal itself and go to her side no matter what. It was in another world. Initially, it was unable to appear before her, and it could only look at Little Nine silently. However, its Little Nine was so weak that everyone could bully her. However, how could it bear to let her be bullied all the time? It drained the last shred of its strength again and chose to turn into a gray dog and grow up with her. It could protect her and not let anyone bully her. However, it still could not keep her safe. She still died. It wanted to find her again as soon as possible. So it stopped eating and stayed at her grave until its last breath. Good people want to take it, but they did not know that little Nine was its life. Without her, it was like losing all its breath. It forgot about that life, which it had really experienced, and thought it was a dream. It thought it was because it missed little Nine so much that it met her in the dream. It had accompanied little Nine for 3 lifetimes, one more than that wild man, but little Nine's heart had never been with it. However, that was fine. For it, the greatest happiness was to be able to accompany her, so it would not allow anyone to hurt her again. Roar! A dragon's roar shook the heavens and the earth. An infinite power emanated from its huge body with a terrifying aura. Suddenly, the iron bars of the huge cage broke. Powerful energy spread out instantly, shattering the huge cage behind it. Such a loud sound naturally disturbed the people outside the door. Me for extra chapters. 2 guards quickly pushed open the prison door and walked in. They were greeted by a burst of dragon's breath, which in a moment had turned them into ashes. The black dragon rushed out of prison and flew into the sky, heading out of Nan City. Little Nine, wait for me. This time, I won't put you in any danger, and I don't want to wait for you to come back again, just like I did 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years of lonely waiting. I can no longer endure. Master! In the Nan family's main courtyard, Nan Fong was lying on the bed with his wife. But before he had time to do anything, a panicked voice came from outside the door. The man ran in without even knocking on the door. Nan Fang's face turned cold. He shouted angrily, "Take him out and behead him!" The guard panicked and knelt on the ground. "Master, something bad has happened. The black dragon. The black dragon has escaped." "What?" Nan Fang's face was cold and sullen as he got up and put on his coat. "That cage is made of diamond and is specially designed to trap such spirit beasts. How did it manage to escape?" Chapter 1723, Daughter of Heaven and Earth. I don't know. The guard were trembling with fear, and their eyes were all filled with terror. Nan Fong ignored the guards and walked out with a cold face. When he reached the dungeon, he found that the cage used to imprison the black dragon was broken. "Go after it." Nan Fang's face darkened. "I have caught him before. I can catch him again, and no spirit beast can escape from my hands." "Yes, master." The guards responded respectfully. Wushang City was dark. Dark clouds were all over the sky. Tianya was dressed in red, smirking at the crowd. "You come to bully my granddaughter. Have you asked my opinion? Even if Nan Fong, that dog, comes, I will still kill him." Ha ha ha. The old man was arrogant, as if these people in front of him were nothing. A cold sweat broke out on Feng Lianking's forehead. He could not resist these attackers, and his face grew solemn and dark. "Lianqing." Tianya swung his sword to the enemies expressionlessly. "You go and stop the Imperial family and the Hellion family. These battles are no longer within their reach." For Chi Fong, he had no great affection for him. Tianya was just looking for a place to stay that day. As for Old Master Hellion, he had followed Tianya all his life. Of course, Tianya did not want to drag him down. "But Master, you..." Feng Lianqing raised his head in panic. He held his sword tightly in his hand, refusing to take a step back. "Go, Lianqing. We can't drag these innocents to this battle. And don't let the people come out." The old man's red robes fluttered in the air with a domineering aura. Blood splashed upon Nan Xian's handsome face, but his eyes were still clear and cold. He was dressed like an immortal in white, as if no matter how bloody the battle was, he would always look like a pure lotus, not stained by any blood. He held his sword tightly, for inside this room was his beloved wife, the one that he would protect with his life. Feng Lianqing gritted his teeth and looked at Tianya, who was bathing in blood in midair, and said, "Master, wait for me. He'll be back soon." His master was fighting with others. Me for extra chapters. How could he retreat? But right now, he had more important things to do and could only join his master later. inside the room. Feng Ruching was lying on the bed, her eyes closed as if she had isolated herself from the world. The noise of the outside world did not affect her. Qing Han's eyes were filled with tears as she stared at a woman next to her. Yes, a woman. Ever since Feng Ruching returned to General Manor, Tian Ye had hired a midwife for her, who was actually very famous in Wushang City. It was said that with her help, even a woman who had a difficult delivery could give birth quickly. Feng Ruching felt that it was unnecessary to hire a midwife. After all, she could heal herself, and with Qing Han and Fu Chun by her side, her child would not be in danger. However, Tianya insisted on it, so she could not help but agree to have a midwife. This woman was not easy to hire. However, Tianya was kind to her, so, with only one word from Tianya, she had rushed over to help Feng Ruching. Chapter 1724, Daughter of Heaven and Earth 2-inch Sister Hui. Why did my mother faint? Isn't she about to give birth? Xiao Hui was also worried. This was the first time she had encountered such a situation. Feng Ruching fell into a coma before the baby was born. She had tried everything she could wake her up, but it did not work. I don't know if her baby is suffocating or not, but I only know that her water is broken, and if it's not born, both mother and child will be in danger. Qing Han was so frightened that her face turned pale. She cried, "Mother, don't sleep. If you don't wake up, you and the little sister will die." Xiao Hui started getting nervous. This was the first time Tian Ye asked for her help. If she could not save young Lady Feng, perhaps she could never see him again in her life. There's no choice but to cut open her belly. Cut open. Qing Han's small face turned even paler as she lifted her head and stared blankly at Xiao Hui. Mother will die. Xiao Hui stroked Qing Han's small head reassuringly and turned to look at Feng Ruching. I'm an expert, so don't worry. She'll be in danger if I don't take her out. After Xiao Hui said this, she took out a small box. She had all the tools ready and even prepared alcohol to sterilize it. Qing Han was still a little worried and jumped in front of her, not allowing Xiao Hui to take a step near Feng Ruching. No, you can't cut my mother's belly. Little girl, it's all right. I'm good at it. He'll do what I promised Tianya. If she loses her life because of childbirth, then I can only give her my life. She owed Tianya. Tianya had saved her life. Of course, she would not joke about his granddaughter's life. Little Qing Han bit her lip, tears streaming down her face. She looked at Feng Ruching before turning to Xiao Hui. Grandfather said we could trust you, but if something happens to Mother, I will kill you immediately. The little girl was still young, but her words had shocked Xiao Hui. However, she did not have time to think about it. She took the knife and walked toward Feng Ruching. The knife was very sharp. However, before her knife could touch Feng Ruching, a light suddenly flashed, and with a bang, the knife bounced away, shocking her. Xiao Hui was startled. Qing Han tilted her head to look at Feng Ruching lying on the bed and said, "Little sister said, Mother will not be in danger. Don't touch Mother. Me for extra chapters." Xiao Hui was stunned. She can communicate with an unborn child? This little girl is really something. Xiao Hui shook her head helplessly. I guess it's your mother who doesn't allow me to cut open her belly. It's not Mother. It's little sister. Qing Han's expression was solemn. Little sister won't let you touch Mother. Otherwise, she will be angry. Xiao Hui was speechless. If I can't touch her now, how will the baby get out? It would have been fine if young Lady Feng is awake, but she's unconscious now. If this continues, she and her child might be in danger. Chapter 1725, Daughter of Heaven and Earth 3. The sun was so hot that even the ground was scorching. There were countless skilled masters under the hot sun. A young girl in a long white dress, stained with blood, was looking at them with her bloodshot eyes among those men. She looked so demonic, like a demon that had come out of hell. Feng Ruching stopped in her tracks, and her eyes fell upon the young girl's delicate face. Half of her face was covered in blood, and the sword in her hand was dripping blood. Chiyu, because of you, the people of Savage Land are plunged into misery, and because of you, countless innocent people have lost their lives. You are the devil's daughter. doomed to destruction. You have killed so many people, so today we will kill you." She laughed like the king of hell, with hatred and anger, and even her eyes turned completely red. "If only I were really the devil's daughter, I wouldn't have suffered all your humiliation back then. You destroyed my clan. You were scared that I would take revenge, so you seal my strength and talent. But luckily, someone has helped me to break the seal. And now you want to kill me because you are afraid of me. I'm not the devil's daughter. I'm a descendant of Tiong Ling clan. You are the ones who made me do this. Savage land has now become barren. This is the retribution that God has given you for exterminating my Tiong Ling clan." The man on the other side sneered. "Chiyu, you have been poisoned and will die soon. If you die, peace will be restored to Savage land once again, and Tiong Ling clan will have no choice but to die if they are unwilling to submit to us." Tiong Ling clan was the son of heaven. They were uniquely gifted but had a good nature and would easily trust others. Perhaps she was an exception to Tiong Ling clan. However, even though she was mischievous as a child, she had never hurt anyone. She had turned out to be the person she was today. It was all because of these people. If I die today, I will drag all of you to hell as my companions. Ha ha ha. Chi laughed wildly. Her energy gradually increased, causing the whole sky to darken. Storm emerged from around her with a solemn aura of death. Me for extra chapters. Chi-yu, are you trying to kill yourself? Perhaps the energy was too strong, so strong that it struck fear into those people's hearts. Since I'm about to die, why not drag all of you with me? Chi-yu stepped toward the enemy's side. Feng Ruching stood outside the battle. She was like a bystander, watching the war calmly. Blood stained the earth red. Everywhere she stepped, countless people fell to the ground. No one could stop this young girl. Time went by, and all those who had come after her fell to the ground. Kaya's energy gradually dissipated, and the clouds in the sky had dispersed, restoring the previous brightness. Her body went limp, paralyzed on the ground. Those people had died, but she did not feel any happiness. Instead, she was filled with sorrow. The people of Tiong Ling clan were too kind. Chapter 1726. Daughter of Heaven and Earth IV. If not, they would not be destroyed by those people. Chi-yu smirked. Perhaps she was the exception. She would make the people who had hurt her suffer more than they could imagine. Unfortunately, she would never get another chance to do so. Little girl, what happened to you? In the void, a voice came, and Chi-yu, who was still in grief, hurriedly raised her head and looked at the woman standing in the air. It was such a stunningly beautiful face. Feng Ruching, who was standing not far away from the battle, was stunned, and her eyes fell on that familiar face when she appeared. That face! She looks like me. The 9th Emperor? Why do I dream of her? But you were not only poisoned this time. The 9th Emperor landed next to the young girl, sighing. I can cure the poison, but there's nothing I can do about the fact that you've given up your chance of survival to boost your strength. Chi-yu lowered her head and smiled faintly. It was her choice. She had risked her life for the sake of revenge. However, she did not expect to see the 9th Emperor one more time before she died. Chi-yu put her finger in her mouth and bit it. She then took the 9th Emperor's hand and slowly drew a talisman on her palm. I have no father and no mother. Heaven is my mother, and the earth is my father. The clan is all of my hope. When Tiong Ling clan fell, all my hopes were dashed, but you broke the seal for me and gave me hope again. She said that she was the exception of the Tiong Ling clan, because she was born without parents. That was why Tiong Ling clan wanted to wait for her to grow up and make her the Tiong Ling clan head. 9th Emperor, this is my Tiong Ling clan's mark. If I have an afterlife, I will come to you. You have to wait for me. You have to wait for me. The 9th Emperor held her palm lightly. I will, Chi-yu. I will wait for you. The young girl smiled with great satisfaction. Blood flowed out of her mouth, and her pair of bloodshot eyes gradually regained their previous clarity. It was like the first time she saw Chi-yu. She was the same little girl with clear eyes and a determined face. Until her death, The little girl's eyes fixed on the ninth emperor, as if to say, "You must wait for me." She did not understand the meaning of this dream me for extra chapters. Her eyes were still fixed upon the ninth emperor. The ninth emperor was dressed in white, and her back was turned to Feng Ruqing, so Feng Ruqing could not see her expression clearly. However, Feng Ruqing felt that the woman in front of her was somewhat lonely and sad at this moment. She probably would not be able to express it. That was why she did not show her reluctance to that young girl. However, Feng Ruqing did not know how deep the friendship between the ninth emperor and Qi Yu was back then. Since she was willing to come to her, their relationship must have been quite deep. Unfortunately, she was late. So, she blamed herself. Feng Ruqing wanted to go forward, even though the ninth emperor was from her past. At this moment, she wanted to comfort her. She had just taken a few steps when she suddenly felt dizzy, and the sound of a cry reached her ears. "Mother, wake up. If you don't wake up, my sister will suffocate and die." Chapter 1727. Hello. Qi Yu Feng Ruqing's head was buzzing, as if there was a force dragging her out, and she felt like her head would explode. When her head cleared up, she gradually opened her eyes. What came in her eyes was a small face full of tears, looking at her with worried eyes. Seeing that Feng Ruqing had woken up, Qing Han pouted and cried, "Mother, you finally woke up. You scared me. I thought you wouldn't wake up." Feng Ruqing touched the little girl's small head, her heart aching a little. "I'm fine, don't worry." Little Qing Han nodded. Then, "Mother, you should give birth to my sister quickly. I'm afraid that she might die." Feng Ruqing did not know why she was so certain that inside her belly now was a little girl. "Young Lady Feng." Qiu Hui was subconsciously relieved and smiled faintly. "Since you're already fine, then let's start." Qing Han is right. It's dangerous to hold the baby in for a long time after the water has broken. Outside the room, Nan Xian was dressed in white robes stained with blood. He guarded the door behind him, refusing to take a step back. Tianyu was standing in the middle of the sky, and countless people were surrounding him, staring at him like he was their prey. The others from General Manor were no match for these people and had already fallen in a pool of blood roar. Suddenly, a dragon's roar echoed through the sky, shaking the ground. Everyone looked up and saw a huge black dragon flying across the sky toward General Manor. Its huge body covered the whole sky, and its fierce eyes made people tremble. "Isn't this the dragon that Manor Master caught earlier? How did it get out?" The crowd was shocked as they looked at the dragon that came across the sky like lightning, panicked. "Who dares to touch my little nine?" The black dragon roared angrily, and its scorching dragon breath spewed out like lava, instantly turning a man into ashes to me for extra chapters. Inside the room, Qiu Hui heaved a sigh of relief. She lifted her hand and held the little one in her arms, smiling at Feng Ruqing. "Young Lady Feng, congratulations. It's a beautiful little girl." "It is a little girl." Feng Ruqing looked at her baby gently. She did not know that the moment her little girl was born, the spiritual qi in the entire Wushang city had become extremely dense, so dense that it was almost foggy. On this day, countless people in Wushang City took advantage of this spiritual qi storm to make a breakthrough, and a few years later, these people would become powerful men. Qiu Hui placed the little girl in her arms. Her eyes were so clear, and she did not cry. She was giggling, and she was so cute. The moment she looked at the little girl's face, the pair of eyes suddenly appeared in her mind, clear as water, with firmness and determination. Chapter 1728. Hello, Qi Yu too. It was such a profound moment that it was like an imprint engraved on her heart. At this moment, she finally understood why, before the birth of her child, she had passed out and dreamt about those things. Perhaps it was the mark she had left on her from the previous life that made her aware of her origins. "Hello, Qi Yu." Feng Ruqing smiled as bright as the sun. "We meet again." The ninth emperor had fulfilled her promise in this life. The little girl stretched out her arms to hug Feng Ruqing, as if in response to her. "Mother, mother." Ching Han jumped to Feng Rooking's side. Little sister seems to like you very much, but since when does she have a name? Is her name Nan Chiyu? Feng Ruching smiled, holding the little girl in her arms gently. Her eyes were filled with softness. Xiaohui looked at Feng Ruching blankly. Chiyu. This name, I think I've heard it somewhere. However, she could not seem to recall it. Little Ching Han looked at her little sister, and she stretched out her arms to hug her. Mother, I want to hug my little sister. The little girl cried out loud, pulling Feng Rooking's sleeve as she refused to let go of her hand or let Ching Han hug her. Little Ching Han's mouth dropped open, a little lost, and almost cried out. Mother, why doesn't little sister like me? She talked to me even when she was in your womb. But why don't you like your sister after you're born? Ching Han, maybe she's still a little uncomfortable with this world. She'll be fine in a few days. Feng Ruching smiled faintly. Her gaze turned to the door and frowned. Is there a fight outside? Oh, don't worry. General Tian, you will deal with it. You just gave birth. Feng Ruching stood up with the little girl in her arms. Her face was still a little pale, but she was strong, and her steps were firm. I'm going out to take a look. Xiaohui opened her mouth and wanted to stop her, but Feng Ruching had already gone out the door. Ching Han smiled brightly. It's all right. Mother is very strong. She can go out. The herbal dishes in her mother's hands were used to nourish her body. She was not an ordinary person, so she could not be affected. The door was pushed open. Me for extra chapters. The moment Feng Ruching walked out, she noticed that the entire courtyard was filled with the smell of blood. Countless corpses were lying on the ground, piled up into mountains. Feng Ruching was startled. She looked down, and she suddenly noticed that among those corpses were her beloved spirit beasts. Anger tinged her heart and made her eyes bloodshot. They were in the midst of a grueling battle when the sky in Wushang City was filled with spiritual qi. They had never experienced that kind of spiritual qi before. However, now, after all, they were in the middle of a battle and no one dared to cultivate. Even so, this shocking feeling still made them feel lost in their thoughts until Feng Rooking's appearance. That's the woman. Kill her. The murderous intent of the Nan family's members surged as they rushed toward Feng Ruching. From the beginning to the end, only Rong Qi remained unmoved. Just now, everyone else was too focused on the battle, so he was the only one who noticed that there was a flash of white light from Feng Rooking's room the moment the spiritual qi storm was formed. Chapter 1729. Hello. They knew that General's granddaughter was giving birth, and then Feng Ruching came out with the child. His eyes flashed white, and he gritted his teeth. Old Master was acting strangely, probably threatened by Nan Fong. These people have no way back, then if I work for Tianya, can he get rid of Nan Fong and return the Nan family to Old Master's hands? A flash of ruthlessness crossed his eyes, and as he saw one man continue to charge at Feng Ruching and the others, he quickly drew his knife and slashed that man. Blood burst out, spilling down from the sky. The man turned his head in shock and looked at Rong Qi incredulously. Rong Qi, you. Everyone in the Nan family stopped abruptly and looked at Rong Qi incredulously. The old man who headed the group was filled with shock and fury. He then shouted harshly, Rong Qi, how dare you to betray our master? Rong Qi sneered. So what if I betray him? I can't do anything in Nan City, but now this is the Nan family's land, and all of you have no way to return. How is that possible? The old man growled. Don't you dare accuse Master. Oh, it seems that you don't know. If Tianya is so easy to deal with, why did your master tolerate him for so many years? Have you ever thought about it? If we can return safely, why would he let me leave Nan City? Bullshit. The old man trembled with anger. My master is only cruel to outsiders, but he is so generous to his people. Without him, there would be no Nan family today, and we would not be able to have so many spirit beasts. But Rong Qi smirked. Did he allow you to bring out the spirit beasts? He didn't want to waste so many spirit beasts because he knew you would never come back, so he let you leave the beast behind. You could check on those who had died, and the moment they died, the contract with the beasts was automatically broken. What they had signed were soul contracts. The contract was valid as long as their soul remains intact. However, if a man died, his soul would remain unless someone destroyed it intentionally to break the contract. The old man walked toward one of the dead men on the ground, reached out with a trembling hand, and touched the old man's forehead suddenly. His fingers shook, and he raised his head in shock. Me for extra chapters. Impossible. The contract is gone. The soul is gone. The soul tokens of the people of the Nan family were in their Manor Master's hands. They obeyed him, fearing that he would damage their soul tokens. But why? They were just out on a mission, and their master not only wanted them dead, but had also wiped out their souls in order not to waste the beasts. No. The old man's voice was sharp and somewhat heartbreaking. I don't believe. Manor Master wouldn't do this to me. He also promised me that when I returned, he would reward me with some powerful spirit beasts. I don't believe it. Rong Chi sneered. Nan Fong is a ruthless man. It is not surprising that he would do such a thing. Believe it or not, I don't want to follow him anymore. If it wasn't for the old master being seriously ill in bed, I would have left long ago. I have watched all those old guys I used to drink with die at his hands. Do you know how heartbroken I am? Chapter 1730. Hello. Chiu Ivarong Chi was furious. His voice was trembling as he spoke. But I'm useless. I can't do anything. I have to stay silent to survive. He could be cruel to the outside world. What makes you think he won't do the same to you? To him, there is only profit and nothing else, and he would use anyone as tools. He was a ruthless and emotionless man. The crowd turned cold. If it was just Rong Chi who said that, they would not take it to heart. Even if they died, they would not doubt their Manor Master. However, all those souls, they were all gone. When the soul was gone, they had no chance of being reincarnated. How could their master be so cruel? Elder Feiyu, what are we going to do now? The soul token is in Master's hands, and we can't escape. If they could go back alive, they would still be useful for the Nan family, and their master would certainly treat them well. But the master was prepared to send them to their deaths, so how could they go back alive? I don't want to die, and I don't want my soul to be destroyed, a skilled master cried out. No one in the world was not afraid to die in such a ruthless state. Ching and Xian's cold eyes turned warm when he looked at Feng Ruching. Are you all right? I'm fine, Feng Ruching said indifferently. Whoever killed my spirit beasts just now, let them be buried with them. As for the rest, let Little Pot turn them into slaves. They had killed her spirit beasts. No matter what reason these people of the Nan family had, she did not want them alive, not even as her slave. Rong Chi panicked, jumped down from the sky, and flew toward Feng Ruching, almost hugging her thighs and weeping. Maiden Feng, am not one of them. I'm a traitor. I tried to run away from the cruel Manor Master. All I said just now is true. Feng Ruching remained cold. I don't like traitors. Who can guarantee that you won't betray me later? It's better to kill you. Maiden Feng, I am not Nan Fang's man. He controls my old master. I have endured humiliation to live until today. You can't kill me. If you kill me, I won't be able to see my old master recover and never see young lady again. Young lady? Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruching thought of what Ah Hua once said to her. She paused for a moment and asked, wasn't the young lady of the Nan family expelled by old Master Nan? Expelled? It's impossible. Rong Chi continued. The old master loves young lady very much. Even if young lady is disobedient and ungrateful, he is still reluctant to let her leave. Whatever young lady has done, the old master will always forgive her. What's your lattice name? Feng Ruching lowered her eyes and asked. Rong Chi was tearful and pitiful. Her name is Nan Sui. Nan Sui, like a heavy stick, these words struck Feng Ruching's heart, making her even more furious. Those bastards from the Nan family. All of them deserve to die. Rong Chi was confused. What did I say wrong? Why does Maiden Feng feel even angrier? Chapter 1731. Something happened to Tang Yin. My mother, you just gave birth to little sister. Calm down. When Fu Chan saw Feng Rooking's face's anger, he hurriedly spoke out to reassure her. I read from the book that a newborn child should not be brought outside. She's weak. Feng Ruching regained her senses and looked down at the little girl she was holding in her arms. It should be fine. She is stronger than ordinary children. Then Xian's eyes fell on Qiyu. He was as calm as an immortal in his white robes. Qinger, she has been with you for so long. Let me hold her. As soon as Nan Xian's hand came close to Qiyu, the little girl threw her little hand and slapped Nan Xian's face. She then pulled Feng Rooking's sleeves, crying, State Preceptor, it seems like she doesn't like you. What have you done to her? Perhaps only Nan Xian and this little girl knew about this matter. A little girl who could have been born with great strength had her wings broken by him. Even though the little girl did not understand anything at the moment, she had subconsciously rejected Nan Xian. Feng Ruching even saw the wary look in her little girl's eyes. Little Nine. Big Black's body gradually shrank in the void and finally transformed into a young man. This young man was very handsome and looked like a stunning demon. After hearing the voice, Feng Ruching looked up at Big Black, surprised. Are you Big Black? When did you get back? She had never seen Big Black as a young man before, but she would not mistake his voice. How did Big Black find her? The young man stiffened slightly. He was so huge just now, and Little Nine did not even notice him. You come back just in time. Feng Ruching looked at the crowd of people from the Nan family and sneered. These people killed my spirit beast. Leave no one behind. Those whose hands have not been stained with the blood of spirit beasts will remain as slaves. These people were Nan Fang's men. They must be as bad as him, and even though this group of people were so pitiful now, she still did not want to let them go. They had killed many innocent spirit beasts, something that she could never forgive. More importantly, Nan Fong. Hurt Sui. Maiden Feng, what about me? Rong Qi cautiously looked at Feng Ruching and asked. We'll decide later. Of course, she would not kill the innocent. If this old man was really Nan Fang's enemy, then there was no harm to let him stay. But my soul token is still in Nan Fang's hands. Rong Qi paused, looked up at Feng Ruching, and asked, Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruching thought for a while before turning to Fu Chen. Is there a way? By being turned into slaves by Little Pot, they don't have to be blackmailed by others. Slaves, this word made Rong Qi's face turn pale. He looked up at Feng Ruching pitifully. Fortunately, Feng Ruching did not want Rong Qi to be her slave. She paused and asked, other than that, Big Black can do it. Big Black was born from the surrounding spiritual qi, and such things were not difficult to him. Good. Feng Ruching took a deep breath. Big Black, Little Pot, let's settle it. Chapter 1732. Something happened to Tang Yin. The little pot buzzed and flew up into the air, its voice full of pleasure. Feng Ruching stood in front of the room, looking at the crowd blankly. Ahua looked at those skilled masters who had fallen in front of it, but there was no pleasure in its heart. These people were dead. However, its companions would never return. Feng Ruching could not see Tang Yin. She turned around and asked, By the way, where is Tang Yin? Oh, before those people came, she was already sent to the Hellion family. Tianya smiled. That girl is not strong, and she is your friend. It's dangerous to keep her here, so it would be better to send her to hide. That's good. Feng Ruching was relieved. Indeed, facing the Nan family, no one else had a chance of winning except for Tianya and Nan Xian. However, just as she turned around to enter the room, a figure rushed in through the door, panting. Xiao Qing, come with me quickly. Something has happened to Tang Yin. Feng Ruching stopped in her tracks. She looked back at Hellion Yu behind her, frowning. What happened to Tang Yin? Initially, the relationship between Hellion Yu and Tang Yin was quite hostile, but Tang Yin was Feng Rooking's friend and was sent to the Hellion family by Tianya, so she did care for her. I don't know. Hellion Yu's eyes were so red that she almost cried out. Just now, for some reason, there was something strange in Wushang City. The spiritual qi in the sky suddenly became very thick and completely out of control. My grandfather took advantage of this wave of spiritual chi to make a breakthrough. But, Helene, you raised her pale face. Tang Yin suddenly fainted and still hasn't woken up. I was dodging my grandfather before rushing out to inform you. It was too dangerous outside. Old Master Helene would not have allowed her to go out and was planning to send guards to inform Feng Ruching. However, she was really worried and quietly ran out. Grandfather. Feng Ruching handed the little girl in her arms to Tianya. Keep an eye on her for me while I go to Hellion Manor with State Preceptor. The little girl's mouth fell open, and she was about to cry out. Feng Ruching turned to her little girl. Don't cry. I have something to do. I will hug you when I come back. The little girl seemed to understand. Her mouth was still open, but she did not cry out. Feng Ruching grabbed Hellion Yu's arm, panicked. Let's go. Hellion Manor. Tang Yin was lying on the bed with a pale face. She seemed to be in some pain and was frowning. Me for extra chapters. Spiritual energy floated before Tang Yin, dense like fog. However, the energy did not enter her body, as if it was blocked. Qianning was already crying so hard that she could not breathe normally. Lady, will young lady be all right? What'll I do if she dies? Can I be your servant? Xiao Ya's lips turned white. She squatted down, holding Tang Yin's hand tightly. The worry in her eyes was so intense that she was never willing to leave her for a moment. Bang! The door of the room was kicked open. Xiao Ya turned to look at the door and saw the two people following behind Hellion Yu. She stood up happily. The first to step in was a woman in red with a gorgeous face, followed by a man in white, as handsome as an immortal, elegant and cool. Princess. Qianning looked at Feng Ruching in tears. Can you save my young lady? Chapter 1733. Something happened to Tang Yin. Feng Ruching moved very quickly, and in the blink of an eye, she was already in front of Tang Yin. At this moment, Tang Yin was as weak as a piece of paper, easily broken. Qianning, when the surrounding spiritual qi emerged just now, were there spiritual qi trying to enter her body? Feng Ruching asked seriously. With tears in her eyes, Qianning nodded slightly. How did Princess know? That's why she fainted. She cultivates more quickly than an average person, and it is not a breakthrough, but the speed of absorbing spiritual qi. This was the advantage of being a beast man. But she has inhaled too much spiritual qi, and there was no way for it to be completely absorbed in her body, which has caused the spiritual qi to surround her, causing her to faint. Qianning was speechless. It sounded like a complicated situation. Will young lady die because of it? No, she won't die. Feng Ruching was silent for a while before continuing. Qianning, you and Xiao Ya leave first. State Preceptor, and I will help Tang Yin. Xiao Ya never doubted Feng Ruching. Her eyes were still full of worry, but gradually turned calm after seeing her. She nodded and turned to the door. Young lady. Qianning was a little reluctant to leave, but she wiped the tears from her eyes and eventually followed Xiao Yu out. She then closed the door. Nancian looked at Tang Yin lying on the bed. If you take her with you, it will be faster to heal Tang Yin. Feng Ruching looked at Nancian, confused. Your little girl. Feng Ruching was speechless. Her name is Chi Yu. Nancian was startled. He did not even know that the little girl had already a name. However, Feng Ruching turned to look at Tang Yin gently. This is an opportunity for Tang Yin to become stronger. I cannot always be by her side to protect her. She must grow up. Nancian stroked Feng Ruching's head. Qing'er, will you promise me one thing? What? When she wakes up, don't look at her with that look in your eyes. Me for extra chapters. What? I'm afraid she'll become obsessed with you. If Tang Yin could have heard them, the first thing she would have done when she woke up would have been to curse this couple. All right, Feng Ruching smiled. We will start now. I want Tang Yin to absorb more spiritual qi. Only then would she be relieved when Tang Yin was not with her. Nancian smiled calmly. He did not like Tang Yin, but Feng Ruching loved her, so he would try his best to save her. Faint spiritual energy passed through Feng Ruching's palm and was transmitted into Tang Yin's body. Tang Yin's expression improved a lot, and her tightly furrowed brows also relaxed. After her whole body relaxed, the spiritual qi from outside started to flow in her body. Time passed slowly, and the whole room was quiet, until a light came out of her and lit up the room. Chapter 1734. 2 years iPhone Ruching stood up, staring at Tang Yin on the bed, and smiled. She's already fine. State Preceptor, let's wait for her outside. She will wake up on her own later. Perhaps from the encounter back then, it was destined. There was a tied fate between her and Tang Yin. Feng Ruching looked at Tang Yin for the last time, and slowly walked toward the door with unspeakable joy. Outside the door, Qian Ning's eyes were red, looking at Feng Ruching anxiously. Xiaoya wanted to say something, but she could not make any sound and only looked at the room with concern on her face. She will wake up later, and when she wakes up, you can bring her back to General Manor. Xiaoya, you have to be prepared. Feng Ruching paused for a moment before continued. Her identity can't be hidden anymore. Xiaoya's heart tightened as she knew what Feng Ruching was referring to. Her eyes were filled with panic. Qian Ning wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. What can't be hidden anymore? Young Lattice identity? Isn't she the young lady of the Tang family? Qian Ning. Feng Ruching turned to Qian Yang. You can ask Xiao Yin about these things, and you will then consider whether to stay by her side or leave. Qian Ning was Tang Yin's servant, but she had been as close as sisters since she was a child. Tang Yin would certainly not want Qian Ning to face danger with her, so they would give Qian Ning a chance to choose. Tears appeared in Qian Ning's eyes. I only know young lady in this world. She has been so good to me. She would share anything delicious with me since I was little. I will never leave her. No matter what. Feng Ruching smiled and said no more. Qian Ning's choice was within her expectation. She smiled and said, Nancian, let's go back first. Qiyu is waiting for us at home. All right. General Manor was as lively as always. The moment Feng Ruching walked into the room, Qiyu cried out with her tiny arms spread wide and her mouth slightly parted pitifully. Feng Ruching hurriedly went up to hold her little girl in her arms, gently soothing her. As expected, with Feng Ruching by her side, the little girl calmed down and stopped crying. It was heartbreaking to watch the tears in her eyes. How did this little girl recognize her mother right after birth? Moreover, I'm not a stranger. I'm your great-grandfather. Maybe she isn't familiar with you yet. Me for extra chapters. Feng Ruching looked at the little girl in her arms. Her heart was filled with warmth. Mother. Little Qing Han tugged at Feng Ruching's sleeve, looked up, and asked, What is the little sister's nickname? Feng Ruching paused, and she turned back to Nancian. State Preceptor, how about you give her a nickname? Well, Nancian smiled gently. It happens to be summer now, so her nickname will be Xia Xia. Tianyu was speechless. This name is so weird. My granddaughter will not agree with it. Xia Xia. Feng Ruching looked at the little girl, sleeping in her arms, and smiled. That's a good name. Her real name will be Nan Qiyu, and her nickname will be Xia Xia. Chapter 1735. 2 years, she wanted to name her Qiyu because of the little girl's past life. Xia Xia. On the other hand, it sounded a little more pleasant. Little Qing Han blinked. Then, in the future, will there be Chun Chun, Chiu Chiu, and Dong Dong? It's not impossible. Nancian's gentle gaze fell on Feng Ruching. When do we get all of them together? Feng Ruching's face darkened. She had just given birth to Xia Xia, and Nancian was already asking for another 3? By the way, Feng Ruching seemed to have thought of something and turned to Tianya. Grandfather, can you arrange someone to keep an eye on Rongqi? I don't know if what he said is true or not, so I still need to keep an eye on him. I understand. Indeed, they only listened to Rongqi alone. Whether it was true or not was still unknown. The safest thing was to keep an eye on him to prevent any bad things. At this moment, in Nan City, Nan Fong stood inside the manor hall furiously. He clenched his fists tightly, and a powerful force surged out, leaving a large hole in the wall. Behind him, a crowd of people trembled, not daring to speak. Tianya. He gritted his teeth with anger in his eyes. I want to find out why all these soul tokens are not working and what Tianya has done to these people. The fact that so many soul tokens were invalidated must be because of that bastard, Tianya. It proved that not only were the people he sent had all been killed, but they were unable to kill Tianya and his granddaughter. Damn you. Sooner or later, it'll kill you and destroy your soul. My dear husband. Just then, a gentle voice came from behind Nan Fong. Nan Fong turned his head, and his eyes fell upon the beautiful woman walking toward him. This woman was very beautiful, and the years had not left too many wrinkles on her face. Her smile and eyes were filled with gentleness. What brings you here? Nan Fong frowned. Every time he saw her, he could not help but see Nan Suyi's face in his mind. The person in front of him was indeed lovely, but compared to Nan Suyi, there was still a gap. I heard that we have lost many skilled masters this time. So, I came over to take a look. Wei Rong smiled. My dear husband, if this continues, our people might have a bad opinion of the Nan family. Me for extra chapters. Nan Fong did everything for the sake of the Nan family. These people saw the benefits and naturally decided to serve him. However, if Nan Fong used the people's lives for his own sake, those people would not say anything, but they would certainly have a bad opinion of him. Nan Fang's face was slightly sunken, and he said furiously, "Shut up. You don't need to say anything about these matters. I know how to handle them." Wei Rong sneered. If you knew how to handle it, you shouldn't have drugged Nan Suyi back then. That old man had almost noticed it. If I hadn't helped you, do you think you would have been able to handle that old man? If he finds out what you did to Nan Suyi, will you still be in your position now? Nan Fong and Wei Rong were the old master's adopted son and niece. In the end, these two had plotted together and harmed his daughter. If the old master had known what would happen today, would he have made a different choice? She sneered as she brushed her hair and looked at Nan Fong coldly. Back then, that old man knew that Suyi didn't like you and wanted to marry Suyi to someone from Nine Gate. If I hadn't done everything I could to make Nan Suyi look bad in front of the elders of Nine Gate, I'm afraid she would have become a member of Nine Gate now. Chapter 1736. 2 years since then, the relationship between the Nan family and Nine Gate ended. Later, Tianya interfered, causing the Nan family to always get into trouble. Nan Fong lowered his eyes. Indeed, without Wei Rong, it would not have been so easy for me to take charge of the Nan family again, as Nan Suyi might have married in a Nine Gate on that day. However, Wei Rong, I can handle everything now. I've already eliminated those useless old things, and the rest are already my people. Wei Rong stepped toward Nan Fong and smiled. But Nan City is like a kingdom. As the emperor of Nan City, you need to care for your people. Nan Fang's face sank as he looked at Wei Rong. She smiled coldly. And have you ever thought about, in case one day, Suyi comes back? Nan Fong was stunned silent. If Suyi comes back, she will compete with you for the position of head of the Nan family. Don't tell me that Suyi's reputation has been ruined. She is the most capable of holding this position. Nan Fang's face sank. Then what should I do? Do you know Nan Chongfeng? Nan Chongfeng. The name made Nan Fang's expression change dramatically. Nan Chongfeng, the first master of the Nan family, but he's dead. Why do you bring him up? I once saw in that old man's secret book that there were some cultivation recipes for taming beasts that Nan Chongfeng had left for the Nan family. He left a message that if he were reincarnated, he would wish to return to the Nan family. Everyone has been waiting for a male heir of the Nan family, because everyone wanted that person to be Nan Chongfeng. But none of those males was the reincarnation of Nan Chongfeng until they died. The Nan family has been waiting for him for thousands of years. So what will happen if we say that Xiaoyu is Nan Chongfeng? Now that you're a member of the Nan family, it's not strange if I can give birth to the reincarnation of Nan Chongfeng. Wei Rong smiled, and we can use this opportunity to reunite with Nine Gate. Nan Chongfeng was the first head of the Nan family, but he never married in his life and did not leave any heir, so Nan Changfeng had chosen an elder in the Nan family to take over his position, 9 Gate, me, for extra chapters. No one was clear about the history of 9 Gate. However, 9 Gate had been friends with the Nan family for generations, and it was only about 20 years ago that relations began to deteriorate. But the one thing that she knew clearly, the 9 Gate's faith was the 9th Emperor. Even if 9 Gate and the 9th Emperor were not related, the person who established 9 Gate must be related to her, or someone who loved the 9th Emperor. As the 9th Emperor's man, if Nan Changfeng were reborn in the world, 9 Gate would definitely reunite with the Nan family. That way, 9 Gate would not say anything if the Nan family decided to kill Tianya. Nan Fong was silent, as if he was thinking about something. Wei Rong continued. This is the only way now. Besides, doesn't 9 Gate like Tianya, because Tianya is against our Nan family in every way? If the Nan family makes up with 9 Gate, I believe that 9 Gate won't help him anymore. Nan Fong sighed lightly. You're right, and that's the only way. Chapter 1737 2 years, IV Wei Rong smiled gently. My dear husband, don't forget me when Sui comes back. Don't worry, I will never abandon you in my life. Nan Fang's voice was firm, and he looked serious. Wei Rong smiled and lowered her face. Her eyes were cold. He only said that he would not abandon her. He did not say he would not accept Sui. Maybe she might even have to make way for Sui on the day Sui returned. She clenched her fists tightly. Murderous intent gradually emerged in her eyes. 2 years had passed in the blink of an eye. During the 2 years, Tianya searched everywhere for a way to leave land of no return, but he found nothing. The only way was to give up his power, just like Jia Xian and Xiaoya. Even Big Black could only come to land of no return, with no way to leave. Land of no return, as the name suggested, did not allow anyone to leave. Feng Ruqing was sitting at the pavilion, leaning against the pillar, when suddenly a voice spoke up behind her. She turned slightly and looked sideways at that woman. Xiao Hui smiled and walked toward Feng Ruqing. I've been out for 2 years. It's time to go back to 9 Gate. I've just spoken to Tianya and came here to say goodbye to you. Xiao Hui came as a midwife back then, perhaps because of her affinity with Nan Shiyu. She had not left since then. However, she could not stay away from home for too long, so it was time to go. Oh, Feng Ruqing responded smilingly. It's all right. If you want to go home, go back first. If Xia Xia wants to see you later, they'll bring her to you. Me for extra chapters. Thinking of that cute little girl, Xiao Hui was a little reluctant. However, she had to go back to 9 Gate to deal with some matters. She could not stay in general manner. Maiden Feng, farewell, and take care. Xiao Hui turned around and walked out of the courtyard. She soon disappeared from Feng Ruqing's eyes. Qingzhu, where is Xia Xia? A green snake next to Feng Ruqing raised its head and looked at Feng Ruqing. Qingzhu snorted. Xia Xia and Qing Han have gone out. My master has gone to look for them. Oh, Feng Ruqing raised her eyebrows. Then I'm not worried. Don't let Xia Xia and Qing Han go out alone. At least ask Fu Chun to follow them. However, since the state preceptor had gone to look for them, she did not need to worry. Feng Ruqing opened the book in her hands and leaned back against the pillar comfortably under the sun. Ever since the spiritual qi storm had erupted that day, the entire Wushang city had been caught up in a cultivation frenzy. Even up until now, the air in Wushang city had been denser than ever, causing countless cultivators to flock to the city. To the emperor of Wushang city, the more the people, the higher the profits he would reap. However, because there were more cultivators, he needed to send more guards to guard the city so that these travelers did not bully his people in the city. At this moment, in the bustling streets of Wushang city, sister, that little sister is so pretty. I want to hug her. Standing on the street was a pair of brother and sister. The girl looked about 18 or 19 years old, with a pretty face, clear eyes, fair skin, and a perfect figure. She was holding a 5- or 6-year-old boy, wearing silk, looking straight ahead, not even taking his eyes off her. Behind these two men stood a group of guards, guarding them. It was apparent that these two people did not come from ordinary families. Xiaoyu, the girl said, I brought you out secretly without telling your parents, so don't cause any trouble. I don't care. This little sister looks like a little fairy. I like her very much. The boy pouted and refused to leave with the young girl, his voice stubborn, causing the girl's face to flush with embarrassment. The young girl took the boy's hand and walked toward the two little girls across the street. Xia, xia. In the middle of the crowd, little Qing Han stuffed a piece of pastry into the little girl's mouth smilingly. Is it delicious? The little girl was only 2 years old, but she was adorable and pretty like a porcelain doll. Her mouth was stuffed like a puffer fish. It was very cute. Little Qing Han held the little girl's face and looked at Xia Xia unblinkingly. Delicious, me for extra chapters. Xia Xia's cheeks were full of pastry crumbs. And, my name is Qiyu. You do not respect me. Xia Xia, Aunt Tang is right. You're too precocious. Do you know what respect means? I don't know. Xia Xia's big eyes twinkled. Some time ago, I saw a little brother from next door call Ahua Little Pig, and Ahua was furious and scratched him, saying that he didn't respect it, and you guys are also disrespecting me by calling me that. Qing Han took Xia Xia's small hand. It's not the same. Ahua's been overeating recently, and it looks like a little pig. Xia Xia is a nickname. It's father who has chosen it for you. Ahua ate a lot and was already fatter than it was 2 years ago. Oh, Xia Xia seemed to understand, smiling innocently. She was so adorable. Sister, I miss my mother and want to go home. All right, let's go home. Qing Han took Xia Xia's small hand. She turned around and was about to leave with Xia Xia when a couple of people suddenly stopped her. The young girl at the forefront was quite friendly, with a smile on her beautiful face and a gentle voice. Little girl, my brother is very fond of your sister. Can you give your sister to my brother for a few days? I'll send her back to you in a few days. Qing Han's small face darkened. You want to buy my sister? No, no. The young girl hurriedly shook her head. We'll only lend her for a few days. We will stay in Wushang City for a few days, and the day we leave, we will return your sister to you. And of course, I will pay for it. No, get out of the way. Little Qing Han snorted. She had been with her sister all day, and it was still not enough. Now, that person wanted her to give her sister to someone else? No, she had been waiting a long time to have a sister. The young girl was anxious, but without waiting for her to continue persuading Qing Han, Nanfeiyu had already run over to Xia Xia and opened his arms. Cute little sister, let me hug you. Qing Han's expression changed dramatically. She stepped in front of Xia Xia and lifted her foot, kicking Nanfeiyu out of the way. Don't you know any shame? A boy running to hug a girl. Shameless. The boy was caught off guard by a kick and fell to the ground. He cried out loudly, shocking the entire street. I want a little sister. A little sister. The young girl's face turned pale. Everyone in the Nan family, except for the old master, favored sons over daughters. If something happened to her younger brother while they were out, her parents would beat her up severely. Moreover, everyone in Nan City said that her younger brother was Nan Chongfeng. If her brother were harmed, no one in Nan City would let her go. Xiaoyu, the young girl, hurriedly went to Nanfeiyu, helped him up from the ground. Are you all right? Did you get hurt? Nanfeiyu was angry and slapped the young girl's face. The young girl pursed her lips, and instead of getting angry, she tried to persuade the boy. Can you just forget about that little girl? I don't care. If she doesn't let me hold her, take her away from me. If my parents were here, they would have obeyed me. You're useless. You are not my sister. Me for extra chapters. The little boy cried even louder, attracting the attention of everyone on the street. The young girl felt very humiliated, but she did not dare to walk away, so she could only walk to Qing Han. Little girl, can you help me? My brother truly adores her, and I will accept all your conditions. She pleaded genuinely. Those guards from the Nan family had also gathered around, surrounding Qing Han and Xia Xia. Bad guys. Xia Xia was not frightened, but she took Qing Han's hand and said, Sister, beat these bad guys. Qing Han pursed her lips and with a swish, countless vines came out from the ground, instantly tying the group of guards and dangling them in the air. The young girl's face was pale, and her eyes were filled with panic. The guards she brought out were all strong, but this little girl, all the people in the street knew Xia Xia and Qing Han. Seeing these people trying to buy the little girl of General Manor, they all sneered. Maiden, do you know who these two little girls are? They're the daughters of General Tian Ya's granddaughter, Feng Ruqing. How dare you treat them like this in Wushang City? Ha ha ha. Those who don't know won't be afraid. Who would have the guts to do such a thing if they knew it? And General Manor has a great reputation in Wushang City. Outsiders like us, we dare not offend. Otherwise, we will be attacked by the crowd. Those sneers from the crowd made the young girl panic. General Manor? Why does a little girl that my brother likes have this status? The young girl bit her pale lip, wanted to say a few words in her defense, but she choked, unable to utter a single word. On the street, a man came, and he was like the sun, dazzling and bright. The young girl had never seen such a handsome man before. He was as stunning as an immortal, but he was so cold to them. The man stopped in front of the two little girls and asked gently what happened. Qing Han looked at the guards in the air and released with a vigorous shake. She then smiled. It's all right, father. Nanxian smiled and looked at Xia Xia again. Did someone bully you? Father, Xia Xia's mouth fell open. Sister will fight the bad guys. Good. No one dares to bully you. If anyone does, just ask Qing Han to kill them. Nanxian went forward and bent down to pick Xia Xia up. Let's go home. He did not even so much as glance at the young girl, as if he had never noticed them. The young girl was a little lost and sighed. He's married. This man looked like he was not close to women. She thought this kind of person should not get married. In the end, it was a disappointment. Somehow, the young girl suddenly wanted to see Feng Ruqing, wanted to know what kind of girl could make such a cold man fall in love with her for extra chapters. Stop. Then Feiyu lay on the ground, crying. Why don't you go and get that little sister? Shall you? The young girl's eyes were filled with dread. She's a girl from Tian Ya's family. I don't care. Even if she doesn't come with me, I still want to hug her. Nan Feiyu's tears flowed, and he cried even more miserably as he watched Xia Xia being taken away, not noticing the mocking gazes around him. This time, the girl did not tolerate him anymore. She pulled him up from the ground and walked in the opposite direction. Let's go back. She should never have agreed to take him out. You let go of me. The little boy clawed with his nails across the girl's face, leaving a bloody scar. They'll tell my mother that you didn't help me when they bullied me, and they'll let her beat you up. The young girl paused and lowered her eyes. I can't let you cause trouble outside. This is not Nan City. This is Wushang City. Those people can't beat Tianya. She agreed to bring Nan Feiyu here because she had heard about the changes that had taken place in Wushang City. However, they could not let Tianya know about it because of the hatred between the two sides. But now, they had offended General Manor and had to leave hurriedly. Otherwise, Tianya would find out about them. Compared to the reckless Nan Feiyu, the young girl was much wiser. She did not even spend the night and left hurriedly, running back to Nan City. As soon as she returned to Nan City, Nan Feiyu ran to the main courtyard in tears. At this time, Wei Rong was drinking tea with some noble ladies of Nan City, and when she saw him crying, her heart sank. Ladies, I have some things to do today, so I can't accompany you anymore. Those noble women also saw the tearful Nan Feiyu, but did not ask a word and said politely, Then, we will take our leave and wait for the next day to visit you. After that, these people left one after another. She hurriedly got up and walked to Nan Feiyu. What's wrong? Didn't you go out with your sister? Who bullied you? I saw a little girl outside and wanted to hug her, but they beat me up and my sister didn't help me. Her face turned cold. It's an honor for you to like a little girl, let alone hug her. Your sister didn't even help you out? Where is she? As soon as the young girl walked in, she saw that Nan Feiyu had already told on her, and she panicked, rushing forward and trying to defend herself. Mother, shut up. She pointed at the young girl angrily. Nanluo, as an elder sister, you just stood by and watched your brother being bullied? Mother, no. Him just smack. Wei Rong raised her hand and slapped Nanluo's face fiercely. Her face became red and swollen, making her look a mess. I don't care what reason you have. Is this how you take care of your brother? Nanluo, he is your brother, your blood relative. How can you bear to see him being bullied? Wei Rong was quite rational, but when it came to Nan Feiyu, she would lose all her senses and become insane. The young girl pursed her lips and sneered. Blood relative. I'm also their blood relative, but when have these people ever treated me as a family? Her mother and father preferred sons to daughters. She was nothing in the family. She only wanted to say that she was afraid of Tian harming her brother before taking him away, but her mother did not even listen to her explanation. Me for extra chapters. Get out. I don't want to see you now. Wei Rong snapped and pointed to the outside of the courtyard. The young girl looked at Wei Rong, but this time she did not defend herself any longer, turning around and walking out of the courtyard. She stumbled a bit, but she was very determined. The young girl suddenly thought of Tianya of Wushang City. It was rumored that Tianya loved his granddaughter very much and would send all the good things in the world to her. And that beautiful man. He looked at his little girl with eyes filled with tenderness. She was also a daughter, but why was she so miserable? As the young lady of the Nan family, her status was high, but her life was not as great as the other girls from other families. At this moment, the girl could not help but feel a little envious of Feng Ruqing. She would rather swap identities with her and become Tian Ya's granddaughter than to be this honorable young lady of the Nan family. Nan City. Not far away, in a small town, a woman dressed in white sat in a tea house, drinking her tea. Her face was covered with a white veil, and the breeze blew, revealing a stunning face beneath it. Have you heard about the old master of the Nan family? He's not in good health. When the woman heard that, the hand holding the teacup paused as she lowered her eyes slightly to hide the emotions in them. The old master of the Nan family seems to have been paralyzed and bedridden since a long time ago, the man continued. But lately, he seems to be getting worse, and I'm afraid he won't be able to live much longer. Tisk, I do not know where the young lady of the Nan family ran away to. Someone said that she had spent a long time outside the city, and when she came back to the Nan family, she was like someone who had lost her lover and could not live without him. The old master was furious with his disobedient and ungrateful daughter, causing him to fall sick and go paralyzed. The old master's biggest tragedy in his life is to get his long-lost daughter back, and in the end, bad things still happen to him. All these years, the new head of the Nan family has provided some herbs to the old master to help him. Otherwise, the old master would have been dead a long time ago. But the old master is still angry with his unfilial daughter, and this time, it seems like he doesn't want to live anymore. The old master's life was full of glory, but his daughter had ruined him. All his dignity was destroyed, leaving him with no more faith to live. The woman stood up, clenched her fists tightly, and walked out of the tea house. On the mountain outside the town, a white phoenix looked at the water's reflection and saw a white dress figure approaching it. Its eyes lit up, and it flew over with its wings flapping. Suyi, you're back? Suyi's dress was as white as snow. Her eyes were full of determination. White Phoenix, let's go down the mountain and go to the Nan family. The Nan family? The White Phoenix tilted its head and looked at Suyi blankly. Why are we going to the Nan family? Shouldn't we be looking for Xiaoqing? I haven't even seen Xiaoqing's child yet, and I want that little girl to call me Grandfather White Phoenix. It raised its head proudly as it said this, its wings fluttering arrogantly. Me for extra chapters. No, I still have few things to settle with the Nan family. Suyi slowly turned around and turned her back to the White Phoenix. I have avoided Mu Ling my whole life, and I haven't gone down the mountain for more than 10 years. I can't protect Nan Xian. I don't want to bring any harm to him. If Nan Xian and Qingyun knew about her past with the Nan family, with their character, they would not have let those things go. However, the Nan family was too powerful. She could not let them endure such a violent storm. Even though she had been here for 2 years, she had never taken a step off the mountain. She was afraid that the people of the Nan family would find out about her existence, and even more afraid that they would find out about Nan Xian and Qing. But didn't we agree that we would go to the Nan family when we are strong enough? The White Phoenix looked confused. Suyi pursed her lips. I'm afraid that we can't wait until then. She was afraid that when she went back, she would not see her father again. She could not wait any longer without knowing how anxious her father had been during the years of her disappearance. She had to go to the Nan family now. All right, the White Phoenix smiled. Suyi, they'll accompany you to the ends of the earth, to heaven and hell. No matter what dangers awaited them ahead, the White Phoenix would always be there for her. White Phoenix, Suyi raised her hand and hugged the White Phoenix's head gently. Thank you for accompanying me for so many years. From the time she appeared in front of the White Phoenix, covered in blood, it was perhaps destined that they would stay together for the rest of their lives, never leaving each other. Suyi, I don't have any family. You, Nan Xian, and Xiao Qing are my only family. The White Phoenix laughed. So, no matter where you go, I will follow. Suyi held the White Phoenix tightly in her arms, knowing that this trip to the Nan family would be extremely dangerous and that her only guilt was that she had dragged the White Phoenix down with her. However, she also understood that even if she allowed the White Phoenix to leave, this fellow would never go. Then, let's go. I'm afraid if we don't go now, maybe I won't be able to see him ever again. Suyi dropped her eyes that were filled with sadness. The White Phoenix opened its mouth, wanted to say if the old master of the Nan family was suffering from illness, Feng Ruqing could heal him. However, he also understood that Suyi was unwilling to let Feng Ruqing become involved in this matter for fear that it would drag her into danger. Moreover, no one knew if they could meet the old master of the Nan family. However, the White Phoenix would always stay by Suyi's side. Suyi turned around. She looked through the clouds, as if she saw the familiar hometown. 1,000 miles away, she smiled. Father, I'm back. After more than 2 decades, she finally returned. I'm sorry that I left you alone to face so many hardships back then. However, this time I'm back, and I won't let anything bad happen to you. I will make all those who hurt me back then pay the price. In Nan City, it was as peaceful as usual. Just on this day, a loud bang was heard at Nan City's main gate. The 2 guards guarding the gate flew backward and landed on the ground miserably. Me for extra chapters. The people in the city were shocked and startled. They turned to look at the city gate. A phoenix hovered in the air, spitting flame, destroying the entire city gate. A woman dressed in white stood under the White Phoenix. She was so beautiful, with elegance and nobility in her gestures and movements. You are... Some of the people in the city remembered the famous young lady Nan Suyi, so, when they saw that somewhat familiar face, they could not help as their eyes widened in shock. Nan Suyi? It can't be her. Nan Suyi has been gone for so many years. Why does she still look so young? The ladies of the Nan family look young because they have consumed spirit herbs to maintain their beauty. But Nan Suyi has been away from home for many years. Where did she get so many spirit herbs? Someone finally came to their senses and hurriedly said, Go and report to the manor master that Nan Suyi is back. Quickly. Nan Manor. Inside the study room, Nan Fong was tapping his fingers on the desk, frowning. There was an open book in front of him. Master! A panicked voice came from outside the study room, and without waiting for Nan Fong to speak, the guard quickly ran in anxiously. Master! Young Lady Suyi, she's back. Suyi? Nan Fong stood up abruptly, his eyes filled with joy. She's back. Nan Fong had never forgotten Suyi. He hated her, but he still wanted her. Furthermore, he was different now, and Suyi couldn't escape from him. Take me to see her. Yes, master. The guard wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and spoke respectfully. Meanwhile, inside the luxurious room, Wei Rong sat in front of the table, drinking her tea. Lady, young Lady Suyi is back. Crash. Her fingers stiffened. The teacup fell to the ground, breaking into pieces. The tea was spilled all over the floor. Her face darkened as she stood up and said, "Did you just say Suyi is back?" Suyi was the only woman in Nanfang's heart. He had never given up on her even after she had rejected him so many times. He thought Suyi would choose him after he had ruined her reputation. Who knew she still did not even so much as glance at him? However, to Wei Rong, Suyi was a nightmare, and her arrival would take everything away from her. She had worked so hard to get all that she had now. She would never allow Suyi to take it back. After taking a deep breath, she held her anger and said coldly, "It's good that Suyi is back. No matter what, she's still the old master's daughter." "Yes, lady." The servant took the order and left. After the servant left, Wei Rong pushed everything off the table to the ground. Her gaze was cold. "Suyi, why did you come back? This is not a place for you to stay. I had allowed you to live back then, but this time, I won't let you go again. Me for extra chapters." There could be only one lady in the Nan family. She had sacrificed so much for Nanfang. How could she be willing to give him up to another woman? Nan Suyi was her enemy, and she would never let her enemy go. At the city gate, Nanfang hurriedly ran over, and from a distance, he saw a figure in a snow-colored dress. The woman was as beautiful as she was back then. He had wanted to marry Suyi at first, not only because she was the old master's daughter, but also because he wanted to have her. Unfortunately, he could not get what he wanted, and Suyi was still rejecting him. "Suyi, you're back?" Nanfang walked towards Suyi. He thought that he hated Suyi and never wanted to see her again. However, now he knew that he would never be able to let her go in this life. The White Phoenix suddenly felt a bit worried. Here comes another bastard with evil intentions towards Suyi. "Suyi, is he Nanfang? He's so ugly and not half as handsome as me." The White Phoenix snorted and said with disdain. Nanfang ignored the White Phoenix for the fact that it was a bird. He had plenty of ways to make the spirit beast obey him. Well, Suyi's face was soft and elegant as she slowly walked toward Nanfang. "I came back this time because I want to see my father." You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.